So my name is Jenica Leah. I'm an award-winning author. I'm the director of two non-profit organisations, one based in the UK, the other based in the Caribbean, both of which are around raising awareness and education of sickle cell, which is a genetic condition that I live with. I'm also the current president for the European Sickle Cell Federation, and once upon a time I'm also like a publisher as well. So yes, there's a lot.
You used to model as well, or do you still do modelling?
I always say kind of like retired model. Which sounds weird because I don't know, but yes, I used to model.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is awesome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So we're going to have a little tete-a-tete, and I'm going to start, right? I'm going to start by asking you about sickle cell, because it is it's one of those under-recognized, under-managed, under everything, right? And it's a huge undertaking to dive right in there, to be an advocate and a champion for something that is under everything. And also for something that you actually have yourself, because you also have to grapple with the fact that you do also have the condition. So girl...
Dive right in. Oh. So first of all, sickle cell is a genetic condition. So it's a condition that's passed down from both parents or one parent if one has a full-blown condition. It's a very debilitating and life-threatening condition. It causes excruciating pain because it limits the amount of oxygen that flows around the body. So it's a condition that affects the red blood cells. Red blood cells are what is responsible for carrying our oxygen around our body. And unfortunately for me, they don't work properly. So instead of being healthy and squishy and able to move through the body very easily, mine are very stiff and very hard and sticky. And what happens on occasion is they clump together, and that blocks the flow of the red blood cells and therefore the oxygen from going around the body. Now, when that happens, it can cause something that's known as a sickle cell crisis, which is very painful, pain like you've never imagined. But as well as that, it causes a lot of other complications such as organ damage, bone damage. So yeah, lots of things that you can't see. It's an invisible condition. So if I'm to use myself as an example, I had a stroke when I was a teenager that was caused by sickle cell. I've also had a hip replacement. I've had 2 hip surgeries, actually. I've had to have my gallbladder removed. I've had liver complications. All of these things just because of one genetic disorder. And it's actually the fastest growing and most common genetic disorder in the world, but it's also the most underfunded, the most under-researched. And it's not very nice.
No, it isn't. Because I'm a doctor, yes. So my experience in terms of seeing patients with sickle cell is in our hospital setting is an interesting one, and because there is just so many layers to it, isn't it? There is the part where it's a condition that affects a group of people that is mainly unseen and unheard. But I also know from my experience that the reasons for that can be so layered as well. For a lot of my colleagues in hospitals, I can speak for maybe 99.9% of us go into hospital wanting to help. But the barriers there come down to sometimes just lack of information, which boggles my, I don't get it.
I think there's not a lot of education around sickle cell, and probably I feel like in the healthcare sector, that's where the issue is. Like, I've spoken to a lot of nurses, perhaps not doctors that are qualified in their specific areas, but there's not a huge amount that they are taught about sickle cell. And so that means that the only thing that they know is probably one instance when they've met a patient that has sickle cell and presents with a crisis, and they either don't know what to do or they will take that one case and think that everyone is the same. And the thing with sickle cell is it affects everyone differently. I have friends that have the same hemoglobin as me. There's different types of sickle cell. You can have SS, SC, and also thalassemia. And someone will, I can be okay and someone else is going through like a terrible time. Some people have complications that other people don't have. It's a very complex disease. And also it's a disease that is commonly or was commonly known to be a Black disease or a Black condition, something that only affects Black people. And one of the campaigns we're trying to push through the European Sickle Cell Federation is that sickle cell has no colour. There are patients, friends that I have across Europe that are white, Caucasian, they're Spanish, they're Italian, and they all have sickle cell. And what we're noticing is that where Black people can face stigmas such as racial profiling and not being believed for their pain, our white counterparts are also facing the same stigmas. They're not being believed that they even have the condition because it's not possible for you to have it because it only affects Black people. And so in both cases, the care is just not there.
I feel like I need to kind of ask you how you started this journey, because you've experienced it as a patient. How and why did you start your campaign? What was there a trigger moment? Was there a story behind that?
I think the moment when I said, okay, I'm going to do this was after I had my hip replacement. And I was 25 at that time. And as I mentioned, when I was a teenager, I had a stroke. So I grew up not really understanding my condition. And so because I didn't understand it, I never used to talk about it, because if people asked me about it, I didn't know what to say. So I would try and hide the fact that I had it. I wouldn't share it. If I was in hospital, I wouldn't say anything. And I just thought, this is something that it causes me pain. As long as I can manage the pain, I'll be fine. No one will have to know. And when I had the stroke, it then made me realize that this is more of a serious condition. And after that, it was just complication after complication. Like, it just became more and more difficult for me to hide it. I had to go on blood transfusion, so I had to miss school every 4 weeks. And there was just so many things that I couldn't hide it anymore. And when I had my hip replacement, it meant that I wasn't in as much pain as I was all of those years leading up to it. And I didn't have to take as much medication. Like, I just felt like I had a new opportunity almost. And I wanted to create something that the younger generation coming up with sickle cell wouldn't have to go through what I've been through. So if I could create something that would give them confidence and empower them to understand their condition and then be able to share it with their friends, so then their friends can be empowered and then they know about it and they can share it with their friends, and it would just be this catalyst effect of positivity and, not bad stigma and things like that. So I wrote and published a children's book, which is called My Friend Jen. There's now 2 books in the series, but the first book really just broke down what sickle cell is and how anyone with sickle cell can stay well. Just basic things like resting, being hydrated, and keeping warm. And from that book, I also put a message in there just to let people living with sickle cell know that even though you have this condition, you don't have to feel limited. You can still do all the things that everyone else does. There's just some slight things that you might have to consider. Yeah. And that was the beginning. The book just kind of took off, and then now I'm all over the place.
I love the fact that you went out there and to be the change that you want to see, and that takes a lot of courage. I hope people watching or listening to this would kind of look at you and think, well, I can do it. And I suspect that's what you're all about, kind of demonstrating that I can do it. That you can be an advocate for, not just for yourself, but for other people around you. And I think that's just incredible.
Thank you.
So, so beautiful and incredible. You've got your mom in the room today. Hello, Mommy Jenica. Did she have anything to do with all of this, by chance?
I would say she has everything to do with the lady that I am now. So I'm really confident. I'm able to speak about my condition confidently and just passionately. I feel like my mom's really motivated me to be where I am today. Both my parents are. I always tell this story that I've never been to university, yet I sit in spaces and on stages with experts, researchers, clinicians, all of these people, and I speak your language. I know what endpoints are. I know what trials are. I know all of these things. But I took a different path to get to where I am today. And that's because my mom, my dad, like, they didn't pressure me to take in the traditional route because they've seen how much my health was impacted me at that time. So in a sense, it helped my mental health, but it also gave me the strength to now be able to pour that into what I do now, and also to motivate other people and help them along their journeys too.
See, that's very interesting, and something that we don't often hear. There may also be parents listening to this, because I am a pediatrician with epilepsy and neurology expertise, and I look after families with children with complex needs who don't necessarily, are able to take the cut out, pathway.
Yes.
I love that your parents have been empowered and knowledgeable and strong enough to allow you to find your own path. And it sounds like they didn't make you kind of go through the system. Recognizing that and having the courage to do that is just awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well done. Because now we've got this amazing advocate for children or people with sickle cell.
It's amazing. I'm grateful to them, honestly.
Yeah. Do you have any particular ambitions? Because it looks like you've kind of ticked off quite a few boxes. Do you have any, what next? Do you have any next level from here?
Yeah, my long-term, $1 million dream would be to have a research facility or a space for patients living with sickle cell that focuses on holistic management. I think now that sickle cell's it's very much at the forefront of a lot of research, especially with gene editing and CRISPR being at the forefront of everything that's happening right now. There's a lot of industries that are looking for curative treatments. And one of the things that they don't always focus on is the quality of life of the people that they're trying to, find these cures for.
Yeah.
And sometimes a cure can, it can fix the problem, but it can cause a barrage of other problems along the way. And there are some patients like myself who are not taking anything to manage their pain. They don't want anything medicinal. They just want something that's just going to be maybe holistic, maybe natural. So I'd love to be able to research into just non-invasive things and also provide a space for patients to come. So it's probably going to be somewhere warm, like in the Caribbean, because I feel like that really helps.
Right. I was just going to say,
yes,
I can just see it. Is there enough out there to achieve this? Are there people with enough interest? Are there resources? Are there organizations? Are there...
I'm going to find them. So I believe
Wherever
they exist.
they're hiding.
Wherever they are, I'm coming for you.
Excuse me, where are you? Come on out.
Yes, I believe everything's possible.
Yes.
So that's the long-term goal, and I'm sure I'll get there. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I know that I will.
Yeah.
First
time we spoke, I talked to you about Health Mary.
Yes.
And I said to you, it would be a good idea if you came onto the app to be a voice.
Yeah, I think before you finished the
before
sentence,
I finished the sentence, she was like, yes. What was it about the whole idea, the platform that drew that? Because,
I know. For me, it's two things. The focus on women's health, because I think that's really important. And not a lot goes into our own health. We don't know a lot about ourselves. We know how amazing we are. We know that we're powerful beings. We bring life into the world, but there's so much more complexities to us. And I feel like with sickle cell being in a space of that's specifically focused on feminine health, what that could bring to the world. And I just think that the app is a great place. It's a great platform for people to be able to find expertise in their field and just connect with them and learn from it. And I also love the idea of sickle cell being prominent in a space like that. Often sickle cell is the afterthought. It's like the last disorder to join something. So I would love for it to be like, okay, sickle cell's already,
Corona.
by the time by the time everyone's joining the app, they're like, oh, sickle cell's here. Yes, we are. Like,
Yeah.
so I was just all for it.
I think as Health Mary's founder and CEO, SheEO, I am all for that. If you notice on the app, there is a very, very holistic view around it. It's not clinical, it's not completely medical. It's all about the holistic approach that you talked about, because I think that women should have a choice, right? We should be given the choices. And I don't think that prescriptions and clinical medicine covers it all. For a lot of people, we all have belief systems that are really, really, even from a neuroscience point of view, right? Your belief system matters. And so on Health Mary, I am looking for the a bit like you, the sort of the underdog approach to things, to really bring it in early on, and be proud of the collaboration and the advocacy that you, and showcase it.
Yeah.
Because it's also all about role modeling, right? If you are on there speaking up about something so important, then I'm hoping it will all kind of ripple effect through the app and the whole community, and then we can start taking more action.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. I was like, oh girl, thank you.
I'm excited. And
then after she said yes, we went like, okay, we'll talk about the details later. But she's just literally signed on the whole thing, which was really, really nice. Do you have any important message? Is there anything you would like our listeners and viewers and the audience today to know? Any important thing? Because you were talking to me the other day about blood transfusion. That's the other major hurdle,
Yes.
isn't it?
I think just one way that anyone can help people living with sickle cell, thalassemia, is by donating blood. So at the moment, I mentioned there's lots of curative therapies that are trying to be developed, but at the moment there are very few treatments for people living with sickle cell. One of them is blood transfusions or blood exchanges. And one person can require up to, 6 to 10, even 12 bags of blood. That means they require 12 people to donate in order for them to receive this blood. And this is a treatment that they have every 4 to 6 weeks. There have been cases, we probably all watch the news and you hear that there's blood shortages and you think, what does that even mean? But a friend of mine went to have his blood transfusion, and unfortunately he was told he can't have it because there's not enough blood. And for him, that's the difference between being able to go to work or being admitted into hospital for a period of time, because his body's just not able to manage. Yeah. So donating blood is really important. There's a specific call for more Black people or majority ethnic people to donate blood, because their blood is a close match to ours as possible. Yeah. So it just, the better match, the more it helps. Yeah. So that's something that everyone can do.
I want to ask you a bit about how you manage it all, because you travel quite a lot. You have all of these roles going on. How does it work? What's a day in the life of Jenica?
My days are very different. I can have a day like today where I've come off a plane, I've gone to one place, I've gone to another place. But one thing that people don't see is that following on from today, I will go home and sleep and not do anything for about 2 to 3 days. I'm not on my phone, I'm not doing anything, I'm just resting. Yeah. So I really prioritize rest. It's just as important as all the work that I do. So it has a space in my diary and it doesn't get removed or deleted. And I think that's something that has helped me to manage. Also, my decision to relocate to Jamaica was a big part of that, because being here, especially during the winter periods, is just so difficult for me to manage sickle cell. I was always in and out of hospital or just unable to do anything. And I think being there with the climate, the food and everything, it just means that I'm able to do more. Yeah. So I feel like everything I do now, I'm able to do all of this now because I'm doing it from there. I kind of plan there and then I come and execute, and then I go back and plan some more and then I come and execute. So it's a balance.
Is the experience of sickle cell different there in
the experience from a patient's perspective is very similar around the world. The level of care and the way that we're treated and the stigmas that we're faced with are the same everywhere. The only difference is, I feel like, from that side of the world, from the Caribbean, even from countries in Africa, they would probably think that being in the UK would mean, you know, better access, better care, free care, because we have the NHS, which is very true. But although we might have the resources, the care is still the same. I would say for Jamaica, the knowledge is definitely, like, the hematologists over there are some of the best in the world.
Yeah.
They really understand the condition, and they do amazing things with what they have access to. So I think that's really important. But on a global level, I feel like everyone is sort of coming to a stage where they realize that we have to work together,
Yeah.
and that working together will hopefully, you know, improve health equity for everyone across the world. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Shall we take questions? Or you can ask me, feel free, because I feel like this is turning to be an
No, it's just me and you in this room.
interview. So do you have any questions for me though, Jenica?
I wanted to ask you about the Health Mary app. Like, what, I know we've had the conversation and I said yes, but what more can
Thinking
I
about
do?
it.
Yeah, what more? No, but what more can I do, and like the community, to kind of help to push it? Because I think as a woman entering the tech space, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And then it's the health tech space, that's another big deal. So how can we help to like push and amplify that?
Yeah. Thank you, girl. Honestly, for me, the currency on the app is downloads and engagement. I am in a way privileged, and I'm happy to say, because I think the universe put me into this position for a reason, and therefore I consider it a privilege, and that's where I'm coming from with that statement. I think I'm privileged to be in a position where I can build a platform, and I can wait it out. I can go the distance, and I'm prepared to go the distance. I think the universe, being a doctor, many years in medical school, also teaches you, if nothing, it teaches you resilience and how to stick to something. And I think we all have this natural connection between us women. There is this connection that, because of the way the world is these days, in modern times, all that is diminished, and people are feeling lonely and isolated, even though there is many of us in a room or in our communities. I think Health Mary is here to sort of break down some of those barriers, to kind of clear the air a little bit so we can see each other a bit more. So all I ask is for us to tap into what we already do anyway, and put the app in the hands of as many women as possible. It is free, and like I said, I have the privilege to be able to do that. It's free to download, and it's free for the practitioners, who are women only as well, on the other side, to come on board and to talk to us, you know, mother to mother, auntie to niece, sister to sister. We've done this for a really, really long time, and there is, you know, there's nothing quite like that connection. So that's all I'm asking, that we kind of pass it on and put it into each other's hands, because
We're good. I'll definitely be happy sharing, download. Yeah.
I think one of the interesting things is, you know, the emotional part aside, and all of the emotive and the, you know, social aspect aside, there is also the tech and the business side. It's a concept that people aren't familiar with, in a way. We all know it in a way, but we've never actually seen it in an app. And there are all of these things, like people that don't really know the tech. There are the people who know the tech but don't trust it, because there's a lot of experience on social media and what's this about and all of that. So there are all these layers to kind of peel back. And but yeah, from the business point of view, it is challenging. But for me, I've got that's me.
Tunnel vision. Just
one step at a time, one foot at a time. I think if I look too high up in the mountain, I'd be like, oh, but yes, I'm just level-headed and putting my one foot in front of the other. And can I tell you something else that's really interesting? Since I started my journey with Health Mary, for some reason, the road has risen to meet me. Like, everybody keeps asking me, how on earth have you? I'm almost in a position to go like, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Like, literally, the right people show up at exactly. I was saying to Jess the other day that we have to start documenting some of it because it's crazy, Some people just show up. I literally met you at the exact time. You can ask Naomi when you see her. Naomi is my business partner, and I was literally talking about bringing in health influencers into the app when the weekend that we met, and it just like that. And not long after that, I spoke to Joanna, and it just feels like everybody shows up asking me these questions that you've asked me. How can we help? So
I feel like when you're on the right journey, the right people to help you to get to the goal, just the door's open. You don't have to even ask how or why. You just have to know you're going to get there, and it will just happen. So it just means you're on the right path. That's all it means.
Oh yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Yeah, like I said, the road has risen to meet me, and we'll just see where the road is going. I feel that there is no fail here. There is absolutely no fail here. In fact, for me, if from a business point of view, my take usually is let's fail and fail fast. Let's fall and get up, and just let's keep going. But as a concept, I think Health Mary, we're on the right track. I feel like I'm onto something, and just the fabulousness of this room and the people I've met, it's just amazing. So yeah, I'm getting emotional now. I shouldn't do that. Nikki, you're gonna cut that one out.
No, keep it in.
Right. Can we take questions?
Are there?
Does anybody have any questions?
So, liquid metals, I was told about this and heard it. So liquid magnesium is something that I take. I usually have it if I've left Jamaica and I'm back in the UK and I know that I'm going to be embarking on a journey of everything that I've been preparing for. I definitely do take that on a daily basis. It helps to build my immune system, and I don't even know what else it does. I just know that I feel the difference. I never feel myself deteriorating. What else? Talking about nutrition and diet. So one of the first, I guess, holistic steps that I took when I was managing my sickle cell was something called a blood type diet. Now, I don't know that there's various different research studies, some that say it works, some that say it doesn't. But the whole science behind it is that food reacts to your blood differently depending on your blood type. And I'm B positive, so I had a little look and I just thought, you know what, sickle cell is to do with the blood. Let me just see what the diet recommends I eat and don't eat. And the whole thing is that certain foods can also basically be poisonous to your body and cause different complications with your gut, different complications with how it breaks down and so on and so forth. So I started that journey, and that was the first step I took on that journey, and it did make a huge difference. And it's interesting now, even though, if I'm being honest with everyone, because I feel like people think that these steps you take to like being healthy is really easy, and what we share online as influencers, sometimes we make it look easy as well. We always share the best bits, and sometimes it's really not good to do that, but I don't stick to it 100%. Like, it told me no shellfish. I love shrimp. I love lobster. Like, I cannot live in Jamaica on an island and not eat seafood. So for me, that's been a struggle. But when I eat these foods, I do notice the difference that it makes after the fact. I can feel very lethargic, very tired. So, I would just recommend that people see what works for you. And as long as it's not going to be a detriment to your health, try it. It might work, it might not, but don't give up.
Yeah.
Just
don't
keep
give
going.
Up. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
Parents who have just found out their child has had sickle cell. First of all, I would recommend for everyone to try and get their genotype tested to make sure if you carry the sickle cell trait or carry any types of hemoglobin disorders, because it's not just sickle cell. There are other thalassemias. You can be major or minor, but once they join with another type of hemoglobin disorder, it can cause a serious condition. So if you've just found out that your child has sickle cell, I think the first thing to say is just, first of all, give yourself grace because, you're in this space now. I would say find out as much information that you can as possible about the condition, and not just from Google. Like, look for support groups, look for advocates online, look for human people, real life people that live with sickle cell. There are loads of us out there and we're all very willing to help. But look for people who have been through that real life experience. The reason I say not, don't go on Google is because it will just give you, like, I don't know, AI. Don't go on ChatGPT. It's going to give you the bait. It's going to tell you all the symptoms and all the things. And as I said, sickle cell is not a one size fits all. You can have people that live very healthy lives and you can have some that don't. But I would just say educate yourself and make sure that you can understand the condition as much as possible from real life experiences of patients, and also look at how you can advocate for others. So be an example. If you can donate blood, perhaps start donating blood, because that child might need a blood exchange or blood transfusion at some point. And keep yourself strong as well as a parent, as a guardian, because that child is going to need you to be their strength at some point. So symptoms of sickle cell, it's really hard to determine because it is an invisible condition. As I said, it affects the blood. There can sometimes be some signs like fatigue, yellowing of the eyes, or jaundice is a sign of someone having sickle cell. But other than that, it really is down to kind of like a clinical diagnosis. What they have in the UK now is the heel prick test, right? So when babies are born, they've done a heel prick test, and that usually checks for multiple different types of genetic disorders. So if you do have any of those, then they will flag it up. Sometimes they'll tell you if you're a carrier of the gene, or if you have a specific type of genetic disorder, but sometimes they won't. So I think the important thing is just to know how sickle cell can be passed on. It's genetic. It's more prevalent in Black communities, but it isn't limited to. So countries like the Mediterranean, the Middle East, it's also very common in those countries as well. And don't think, like, I would encourage you to let your children know that even when you're at the stage of dating and starting a relationship, this should just be a normal question. One of my friends who also had sickle cell, he's like, my 3 first dating questions are, what's your favorite color? What's your 5-year plan? What's your genotype? Like, it's just a standard conversation. It shouldn't be a taboo. And I think the more we talk about it and make it not a taboo, then it just becomes a normal thing for everyone to know, because there are many genetic disorders that are out there. Yeah.
Jenica, is there anything else you want to say? Anything else?
I just want to thank you.
Oh, really?
Thank you so much. No, thank you for providing this space. Thank you for creating the space that you have on your app. And, thank you for giving people like me a voice, because it's really hard when you're in kind of like a niche field to be able to share that knowledge publicly and in a way that people will receive it and understand and ask questions and want to learn more. It's not often, it's not done very often. So I appreciate you seeing me, and I thank you, and I look forward to our collaborations.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for stopping by. Right, Jenica, you can sashay off the stage.